Welcome to the Sermon in the Valley with Pastor Rob Eller. You can find this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. If you like what you hear in this podcast, please subscribe to it and share it with your friends and family. Thank you. Welcome back to the Sermon in the Valley. Pastor Rob Eller here with your weekly sermon episode, with the reading of my sermon from Sunday, June 28th, the 5th Sunday after Pentecost. This week we conclude our summer sermon series, Follow Me, the Costly Discipleship of Jesus, with the sermon, Welcome Everyone. Let's get started. The Holy Gospel according to St. Matthew, the 10th chapter. Jesus said to the 12, "Whoever welcomes you welcomes me, and whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward, and whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive the reward of the righteous. And whoever gives even a cup of cold water to one of these little ones in the name of a disciple, truly I tell you, none of these will lose their reward." The Gospel of the Lord. It's a hot summer day, and your phone starts ringing one morning, and a number you don't recognize. You answer and say with a confused and uncertain tone, "Hello?" The person on the other line says, "Greetings, my child. It's Jesus. I'm calling to let you know that I plan on stopping by for a visit later today." That person then hangs up, and you're very confused, but very excited that Christ wants to come visit you. You start to panic because you're not prepared to host someone for dinner at your house, especially not Jesus. The house is a mess and the fridge is practically empty. As you head out to your car to go to the grocery store, your neighbor across the street yells out, "Hey, can I come over for a bit? I have some really good news I want to share with you." You reply, "I'm sorry, but Jesus is coming over at some point today and I need to be ready for him." A while later, you're cleaning the house when you hear a knock at the door. You get excited because you think it's Jesus, but you open it to find your mail carrier. "Here's your mail today. Could I have a glass of water? It's so hot today, and my delivery vehicle is a few blocks away." You reply, "I'm sorry, I would, but I'm expecting Jesus to come over today and I still have work to do. Maybe next time." And you close the door. In the evening, you're getting dinner ready and wondering when Jesus will show up. You notice your phone is buzzing and it's your closest friend sending you a text message that they're going through a rough time and need some advice. You ignore it, thinking that it could wait until morning. It's late now, and you're getting ready to go to bed. You begin to doubt if that call was even real. Your phone rings, and it's the same number from earlier. So you answer it, ready to tell off the would-be prankster. "So where were you? Why didn't you come over?" Jesus replies, "I tried to, but you didn't want to talk to me when I had good news. You wouldn't give me a cup of cold water when I was thirsty. And when I was in need of some help, you ignored me. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me." Today we conclude our summer sermon series, Follow Me. We have spent the last few weeks working our way through Jesus' missionary discourse in the Gospel of Matthew. We started with hearing the call from Jesus to go to the forgotten and overlooked places, the very places Jesus called his disciples from. We've been commissioned to go into the harvest because there's so much work and not enough people to do it all. We've been warned about what this work and speaking the truth will cost us. And finally today, Jesus tells us that when we are welcomed, he too is welcomed. That when we welcome others, we are welcoming him. Well, today's reading is short in comparison to the rest of the discourse, just 3 verses. It carries just as much weight. The opening verse for today's gospel reading gives us 3 links in the same chain. Jesus is saying, whoever welcomes a disciple is in turn welcoming the Messiah, which in turn means they are welcoming the Father. Each act of welcome toward the one who is sent reaches all the way back to the sender. This made sense in ancient times and still does today. An ambassador carried the full authority and presence of whoever sent them. To receive or reject the ambassador is in effect receiving or rejecting the person who sent them. Jesus is saying he is acting as an ambassador for God and is sending out the disciples on his behalf. This is important to remember because the disciples go where Jesus sends them. When they go and speak the hard truth, sit at the wrong tables, and give a cup of water to someone who is thirsty, they're not doing this on the edges of God's work, but rather entrenched right in the middle of it. While doing so, they are the direct point of contact between the world and the chain. As a result, this reframes everything the commission we have heard from Jesus these last few weeks has named. The physical and emotional pain, the divisions among family and friends, the fear of being unseen and misunderstood, all of it is happening to someone who is carrying the presence of Christ into every space they walk into. Think about that for a minute. That call from Jesus to get up from whatever it is we are doing and follow him so that we become ambassadors of Christ in the world. That is a daunting and heavy burden, as well as a blessing. The actions we do and the words we speak are a reflection of the God we worship. We look at this verse and initially think it's only about us as disciples being welcomed by others, but it also speaks to us as those who do the welcoming as well. When we welcome others, we are essentially doing an act of hospitality toward God. Therefore, welcome is not just social grace, but also a theological act whose consequences we cannot fully see in the moment. That single act of welcoming has a ripple effect that we may never know the end of. The next verse takes the welcome even further. Whoever welcomes a prophet in the name of a prophet will receive a prophet's reward. And whoever welcomes a righteous person in the name of a righteous person will receive a righteous person's reward. Two kinds of people who are sent are named here. The prophet, who speaks the difficult and hard truths, and the righteous person who lives faithfully. And by welcoming them, we are entering into their reward. What is this reward exactly? It's not compensation for our hospitality, but rather participation. The word used for reward here is misthon, which means belonging rather than transaction. When we welcome a prophet, when we make room for the hard truth and receive the person who carries it, even if it costs us something to hear, we enter into life with the prophet. We join them in their mission and are not just an audience for it. Finally, Jesus ends in what may seem a small way, but it's just as powerful as anything he said before. He could have ended with power and authority, but instead it's with a cup of cold water to someone thirsty. We think little ones are just children, but it's anyone who's been overlooked or cast out. And this cup of cold water is not some modest metaphor for a larger act. It's emphasizing that even our smallest acts come from the love of God. It may seem insignificant to some and go unnoticed by everyone else, but God sees it. We ourselves have already been welcomed, not conditionally or eventually, and certainly not once we have done enough to deserve it. We've already been welcomed. The moment Jesus said, "Follow me," the welcome was extended. And everything that has come after, the cost, the fear, the simple cup of water, happens inside that welcome. This matters because we have a hard time accepting that welcome. We keep ourselves slightly outside the circle and feel like we have to continue to work toward earning our way toward belonging, to prove ourselves, still not quite sure that we have done enough. But Jesus says, no, you are already part of it. The Father who sent me has already received you. You don't have to earn your way in. And then from that place of being received, not from duty, not from guilt, not from the anxious need to prove we are good disciples, from that place, we go out and welcome. Now, I don't need to explain how we need to be a welcoming congregation. We have this figured out down to almost a science. Of all the churches I've been part of in my life, this is by far the most welcoming. It's a hallmark of what makes us Emmanuelites. I see it every week when we have visitors come through our doors. The warm smiles, the friendly handshakes and hugs. Many of you may have experienced that as well, and that's why you're here today. I experienced it firsthand 5 years ago when I was interviewing here. The one experience in particular that has stuck with me was how, during my second interview, the call committee moved our conversation to the nursery so that my daughter could play there. When that happened, my wife and I looked at each other and we knew what kind of church this is. That small gesture was all it took to convince us this was the right place for us. Being welcoming is not a one-and-done experience. It's something that we live every day. It goes beyond just welcoming others through our doors here, but into our lives, our neighborhoods, and communities, our cities and towns. It's being a voice and advocate for others when they're told they don't belong, or lies and fears are spread about them. It is learning the name of the family that moved in 3 doors down and has not yet been spoken to. And showing up at the meetings where someone's future is being decided by people who've never met them and saying, I know this person, and they belong here. It's not an elaborate program or initiative, it's a simple, small act. Like a cup of cold water. This is what the life of welcome looks like when it's not an event, but a practice. Not something we perform on Sunday mornings and leave at the door on the way out, but something that goes with us into every room we enter for the other 6 days of the week. Into the grocery store, the city council meeting, the conversation with the neighbor we've been meaning to have. The chain of welcome that runs from us to Christ to the Father doesn't stop at the church door. It goes wherever we go, which means wherever we go, we carry the possibility of that chain being extended to one more person who did not know they were in it. That is the calling. Not heroic, not complicated. A cup of cold water given in Christ's name to whoever is thirsty in front of you today. Whoever welcomes you welcomes me. And whoever welcomes me welcomes the one who sent me. And all of God's people said, Amen. Thank you for listening to this sermon. If you like this sermon, please subscribe to this podcast, share this episode, share this podcast with your friends, your neighbors, your family, and yes, even your enemies. The Sermon in the Valley is a production of Gutenberg Media and is written and produced at the Patrick Stevens Broadcast Studio here in the heart of the Tuscarawas Valley. God's mercy, grace, peace, and love be with each and every single one of you. And as always, have a blessed day.